When lawyers hold money for their clients, they're generally required to keep it in a special bank account called a trust account, totally separate from their business and personal accounts. There are many disciplinary cases involving lawyers accused of violating the ethical rules governing trust accounts, including the 2020 case, in the matter of Constant. Terry Constant was a personal injury lawyer with more than 50 years of experience and not a single disciplinary complaint to his name. But when Constant twice overdrew his client trust account, his bank contacted the Office of Lawyer Regulation, or OLR, which launched an investigation. During the investigation, Constant gave the OLR trust account and client records that were incomplete and contradictory at times. Constant also claimed that he never withdrew any cash from the trust account. However, the records showed that Constant withdrew cash on multiple occasions and electronically transferred funds to his business account. Despite using Quicken accounting software, Constant failed to accurately track balances, dates, or amounts, and he was unable to identify exactly whose money was used for which disbursements and what those disbursements were for. At one point, the balance in the trust account was almost $35,000 less than what it should have been for just one client alone. To cover disbursements for that client, Constant had to depend on funds deposited for another client. At another point, Constant had to transfer his own funds from his business account to avoid overdrawing the trust account. After completing the investigation, the OLR lodged a complaint with the Wisconsin Supreme Court, charging Constant with professional misconduct for violating the ethical rules governing trust accounts. Subsequently, the court appointed a referee to preside over the case and make a recommendation for dismissal or discipline. Throughout the case, Constant consistently blamed Quicken and the bank, and excused any misconduct on his part by observing that no one had suffered any losses. The referee ultimately concluded that Constant committed 8 serious rule violations and recommended a 5-month suspension from the practice of law, plus ongoing monitoring of his trust account for 2 years after that. The referee also recommended 12 hours of continuing legal education, with at least 6 hours on trust account management. Finally, the referee recommended an assessment of costs against Constant. Constant appealed to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and the OLR cross-appealed, asking the court to impose a longer 1-year suspension.